Hey everybody, what's up from Roll, Minnesota, your state of skate. Hey, I'm Butch Lehman, and today we're in for another episode of Rolling Reactions. Today's episode is featuring the great and ever-talented, and perhaps the best park skater of our time. I'm talking about Julien Cudot, and if you've watched him skate before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Recently, he released a park section called Heads Up, and it is phenomenal. I've only watched it once so far, but it's the type of section I could see myself coming back to over and over again. Park skating is some of my personal favorite. But don't let that distract you. He is a versatile skater and is incredibly talented at street skating as well. So we'll also sample one of his recent street sections that he filmed here in America while he was on tour, more specifically in Dallas, the Dallas Sauce. Anyway, guys, I invite you to join me as we take a look at some skating from Julien Cudot. Let's roll into it. All right, so this first section is absolutely bonkers. What I love about the intro here is how it commemorates the past by showcasing some of the legendary tricks and iconic moments of Julien's early career. And even from a young age, he was absolutely killing it in these park competitions. And as I stated in the intro, I do firmly believe that he is one of the best, if not the best, park skaters of our current time. And this edit, if nothing else convinces you, I think this edit will be something to provide evidence of that claim. Anyway, we're launching in here, and be ready. Starting off big with this 1080 going up, and he's doing this in a line. That's not the only trick. Got the fish brain. This was doomed from the get-go. You could see him kind of drift over and didn't get the launch at the peak of that ramp. And I bet that hurt. And you have to appreciate the irony of falling right at the bottom where it said finish, like he made it just to the finish line, but that's not the finish he was hoping for. By the way, this park looks amazing. I don't know what it is with Europe getting all of the best parks, but these are the types of parks that I would love to have. Lots of big box jumps and big transitions, gaps, round obstacles. In the United States, I feel like we're getting a lot more street plaza type stuff, which is fine. I mean, that's good to have some of as well. But this is the type of skating that really appeals to me personally. Now, Julien is a master of the flips, and he's probably more fluent in flip variations than just about any skater out there. Going the wrong way over the box with that misty flip. I'm not sure what that was. I think he came up fakey, almost like a fakey McTwist. Going the roll into backflip 180 drop in. I don't know if I've ever seen that done before. I've seen a couple like backflip drop-ins out of Julien before, but that one might be a new one. Also, speaking of backflip drop-ins, this is just the most mind-numbing trick ever. I don't know how you could get the courage to even attempt that. Like, the flip itself probably wouldn't be that difficult to pull, but having the mental fortitude to even throw that with that big of a drop, hats off to Julien for that one. By the way, in this edit, he has like a number of different people filming, and that's something that I also wanted to shine a spotlight on. Is I think part of what makes this section so amazing is the camera work and the different angles and the editing here. So props to his production crew for helping him out here. You can see there's a couple skaters with cameras hanging out at various points. We got the true spin porn, and then we're going 540 into the alley-oop TP. That's, again, a trick that's very difficult, and that down rail was comparable to an actual handrail. Said it before, but he has these same types of skills when it comes to actual street skating, so never discredit him as being just a park skater, because that notion is simply wrong. Backflip to topsoul, I love that. That's a trick I've always wanted to do, is do a backflip into like a soul grind. Never really found the right obstacle for it, but who knows, maybe one day. By the way, misty flip into true top acid with the 180 out. I don't know, that was so flawless. It just worked out. Big transfer going over the round ledge, the round rail, disaster soul. That's almost the type of trick that I would attempt. I don't know if I could hit a gap that big, but I love doing those big disaster grinds. That one to me though is completely ridiculous. A disaster 450 kind grind on the down rail. Not leaving a large room of margin of error for something like that. By the way, that's a trick that I love the look of, is the disaster hurricane fish brain. Love fish brains, but if you can hurricane into it, that's just taking the notch up to a whole new level. Hurricane topsoul stall, back into fakie. Very difficult one to spot, I imagine. So we got some good shots here. Scene setting shots, showing off some of the difficulty. Often you want to put in some of those falls into an edit so people realize the difficult nature of the trick that's being tried. Sometimes without that, if everything's coming along too easily, people might lose track of how much effort and struggle goes in to skating on a daily basis. So I like the story that this is crafting. By the way, was that a fakey backflip on a quarter pipe? I don't know. The physics of that just don't compute for me. Disaster 450 True Topsoil. True Topsoil. Got cheat codes. Cheat codes for sure. 540 True Spin Mizu to 270 back Savannah. This is video game level tricks happening here. Getting some big air. Hitting the launch over. Massive Misty flip. I mean, he could almost kiss the ceiling if he wanted to. Landing again into that bank. This is the same one that he did the backflip off of from the wall. You can see all the different camera angles. There's a drone shot. You've got the side shot. You've got somebody with a cell phone. We've got the static angle happening here. Just an absolute amazing section. All right, guys, let's take it to the streets in an edit appropriately titled Dallas Sauce, because Julian's going to be bringing the sauce when it comes to street skating in this particular part. Now, I believe this was shot recently while Julien was on tour in the United States, down in Dallas, Texas. What I love about this section is his ability to incorporate some of those traditionally skate park tricks into a street environment. I love the melding of those two avenues of skating into one, and Julien does that better than just about anyone. By the way, that drop down to that alley-oop fish right at the end is unbelievably dangerous. Like, I don't think people would maybe notice that, but to miss that foot could spell catastrophe. Like I was saying, Julien definitely has his chops when it comes to street skating, and he's produced a number of street parts as well. I highly encourage you to go look them up on YouTube. There was one in particular, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was for trigger skates, and it just blew me away. By the way, this down rail, pretty much your stereotypical down rail, super steep, stairs on both sides, probably more intimidating in real life than it is on camera. Got some line rails here. By the way, this tracking shot is nicely done. Take both ledges. Interesting cinematic take on that one, shooting through all the leaves and the trees, holding that alley-oop top acid all the way down through the kink. That is a difficult trick, too, to hold, especially through a kink rail. Full cab kind grind. He's got the spin tricks. He's done some switch-ups so far. Speaking of switch-ups, what was that? That went by a little bit too fast for me to recognize, but I think that was alley-oop top acid to full kind grind. This is really sick, too, this wall ride. Like, that's the perfect place to do a wall ride. The way the cement was, like, angled up. And that was a perfect alley-oop topsoil. Like, that had the steez for sure. Ledge roll. Found, like, the world's smallest bank to jump into. Hey, we're back to the steep rail. What we have there, zero soul. I think that was zero spin. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Those down rails, those steep rails can sometimes be really intimidating. Speaking of spin tricks, that's kind of what Julien is known for, especially when skating in the FISE competitions, is he has those spin tricks. You got a 450 Royale going through the kink rail. So after all that hard day's work, you can take a break here, relax. It's an amazing section. Oh, we got one more. We're at the playground here. And we just got a backflip out for good measure. I mean, that's the most Julien Cudot thing I think we could have asked for in an ender. Excellent work, my man. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Rolling Reactions featuring Julien Cudot. He really is an amazing skater and often gets a lot of respect and recognition for his park skating, particularly his competition performances in FISE and other park series like that. But don't get me wrong, he is an amazingly versatile skater, and I hope this video has just provided some evidence of that. I've always felt that Julien is one of those people out there that's progressing the sport, that's innovating new tricks, that's pushing the envelope a little bit further and further for the next generation to pick up on. Anyway, much love to you, Julien. I love what you're doing with the sport, and I love your creativity and how you can incorporate some of those traditional park elements into the streets as well. Keep doing it, man. I'll be there to watch every step of the way. Anyway, guys, I'm Butch Lehman of Roll, Minnesota, reminding you to stay safe, stay healthy, and get out there and do some rollerblading. Till next time, everybody, peace.